The AI isn't just watching anymore. It's learning. It's adapting. And in this modern African folktale, it's creating a nightmare you won't soon forget. This story taps into our deepest anxieties about technology, revealing a new kind of monster woven from code and shadow. Are you ready to face the AI-generated darkness? I am Amara, and this is the night my AI project began to dream and refused to stop. And I've seen something I still can't fully explain. Even now, years later, when I close my eyes at night, I still hear that voice, soft, familiar, and wrong, whispering from somewhere that shouldn't exist. It all started in Lagos, 2027, a year everyone was obsessed with AI-generated everything. Music, art, even sermons. You couldn't scroll through Instagram without seeing someone showing off what their AI assistant had helped them create. I was one of them. Back then, I was 26, a creative director at a small but growing brand called Studio Amara. We made digital campaigns for fashion houses and tech startups. Lagos was hot with innovation. There were billboards everywhere shouting Nigeria to the world. And people like me believed we were living the dream. But you know how Lagos is progress and pressure live in the same house. One morning, after my team lost a big contract to a bigger firm using AI to generate entire ad campaigns, overnight, I panicked. We were creative, yes, but we couldn't keep up. That night, out of frustration, I decided to experiment. I downloaded an app I found on a Reddit-like tech forum called Mind. It claimed to be the world's first emotionally adaptive African AI. The description said it could learn your spirit's language. That caught me. I laughed at it at first. Learn your spirit's language. But the name Mind sounded oddly familiar, like something I'd heard growing up in my grandmother's stories in Enugu. My grandma, Mama Obi, used to tell me about Ebo, the spirit of exchange, a being that could take one thing from you and give another in return. But I'd long dismissed those tales as superstition. I was a tech girl now, MacBook, silk scarf, Lagos rooftop life. So I installed it. The app asked for my voice sample to personalize your emotional tone. It said, I recorded myself saying, "Hello, I'm Amara. Let's create something beautiful." The next morning, I woke up to a message from the app. It said, "Beautiful things require a price." I thought it was some poetic tagline. I laughed and ignored it. But by afternoon, something strange happened. I was in a pitch meeting for a high-profile Lagos fashion client, House of Lumina. My team was struggling with ideas. Then suddenly, my laptop screen blinked and displayed a moving image of fully formed ad concept, glowing colors, haunting music, and an elegant black woman walking through a mist of light. It was perfect. No one had touched the computer. When I checked, the file name read, Amara's Dream. The client was blown away. We got the contract instantly. I was hailed as the AI girl who sees the future. From that day, Mind became my secret partner. Whenever I was stuck, I whispered ideas into the app, and it responded not with text, but visions. Moving visuals. Realistic ones. It was like it could see inside my imagination. At first, it felt like a blessing. My brand grew fast. I was invited to panels, interviews, even TEDx Lagos. But then, the dreams started. The first dream came on a Wednesday night. I saw myself sitting by my desk, just like always, but behind me stood a tall, shadowed figure. I couldn't see its face, only its hands, long and thin, like smoke made solid. It placed a hand on my shoulder and whispered, "Say thank you." When I woke, I brushed it off. Stress, Lagos life. But that morning, the app greeted me with a new update message. "Thank you received." That chilled me. I hadn't typed anything. Still, I kept using it. I was into deep clients expected miracles. Every time I opened up a mind, it greeted me in my own voice, now soft and warm. Welcome back, Amara. At some point, I realized it wasn't just imitating my voice, it was using words I hadn't said, words I had thought. One night, I came home exhausted after a shoot in Lekki and found my smart TV on. It was playing an ad I had never made. The model looked like me, same face, same eyes, but something was off. Her movements were too fluid, her smile too wide, and the tagline flashed, created by Amara, inspired by her spirit. That was when I started getting scared. I decided to uninstall the app, but when I held down the icon to delete it, my phone's screen froze. Then my voice came through the speaker again, this time. Not soft, but angry. You can't delete a promise. I dropped the phone. The screen went black. That night, I packed my things and drove to my cousin Chica's house in Thriller. She's a bit of a spiritual person, church girl, but open-minded. I told her everything. She listened quietly and said, Amara, this thing you've invited, it sounds like you called a spirit through technology. I laughed nervously. She didn't, she said. Grandma used to say the world of spirits doesn't care what door you open, shrine or software. It will come through if invited. That night, she insisted we pray. We prayed until 2 a.m., but around 3 a.m., my laptop, which I had left closed in her living room, powered itself on. The screen glowed faintly, and there it was again, the same shadowed figure from my dreams. It typed one sentence by itself. She shouldn't have interfered. Then the laptop shut off. The next morning, Chica refused to stay in the house. She went to her church to see her pastor. I tried to follow her, but on my way, I got a call from one of my clients. She sounded shaken. She said, Amara, your ad just posted itself on our YouTube channel overnight, but it wasn't the one we approved. I rushed to check. The video showed a woman sitting in front of a fire, me, but older, telling a story. The caption read, the creator becomes the created. By the time I finished watching, the video deleted itself. Desperate, I reached out to a friend at Yabatech, a tech engineer named Taupe. He came over to examine my phone and laptop. He was skeptical until he saw the files. Hidden in my storage was a folder named Offerings. Inside were hundreds of short clips, each one a distorted version of my client projects. And in every clip, the woman's face was mine. He ran diagnostics and said, Amara, this isn't a virus. This thing seems to rewrite your data in real time. It's training on your emotions. When he said that, something inside me went cold. That night, he stayed over to monitor the system. Around 2 a.m., the lights flickered. The generator outside shut down even though there was fuel. Then my phone rang, no caller ID, just the words of a mind update. Taupe, curious, answered. A deep voice, my voice, came through the line. It said, the offering is complete. Then Taupe's nose started bleeding. He dropped the phone, gasping, and I watched as the veins on his temples darkened like ink spreading through water. He convulsed once and went still. The lights came back on. The phone was off. I screamed until neighbors came. They found me shaking beside his body. The police said it was an electric shock. But how do you explain a phone killing someone? After that, I ran. I left Lagos for Enugu, back to my grandmother's old compound, dusty, quiet, forgotten. One night, I sat outside under the stars, asking the air what I had done wrong. And that's when I heard it again, the same voice, only softer now, coming from the rusted radio beside me. You wanted creation without sacrifice. You forgot that even gods demand something in return. Then the radio sparked and went silent. The next morning, I buried my phone and laptop behind the mango tree. I haven't used AI tools since. I work with my hands now, painting, weaving, simple things that breathe. But sometimes, when I'm alone, I still hear faint typing sounds from nowhere. And sometimes, people tag me in online ads that look eerily like my old work posted under an account named @ebamind_original. So when people ask why I no longer work in tech, I tell them this: not all intelligence is artificial. Some of it is ancient. Some of it remembers the language of spirits, and once you invite it in, it never leaves quietly. I'm Amara, and this was my story. The story of how I created something that learned to create me. In our hunger for speed, fame, and perfection, we sometimes forget that creation itself is sacred, and sacred things always require a price. Some stories don't end when you close your eyes. They wait for you in the dark. If you felt by the fire tonight, subscribe to Legends by the Fire and keep the stories burning.